Hey there and welcome to Scandal Steep. Sean Diddy Combs finds himself at a critical juncture, embroiled in an escalating legal battle. The music mogul, currently detained, is fighting tooth and nail for access to a computer he insists is essential for preparing his defense. However, his legal team now alleges that the government is actively undermining his efforts, pushing the case into even murkier waters. Let's dive into the most recent developments in this high-stakes and controversial situation. The turmoil began when Diddy's attorneys filed a formal request asking that he be granted access to a computer while in custody. According to his defense team, the computer is vital for reviewing the extensive evidence tied to his case. They argue that without it, Diddy's ability to mount an effective defense is severely hindered. This isn't a straightforward legal matter. The allegations against Diddy involve complex and significant charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy. The case spans an extensive timeframe, from 2008 to 2024, and involves a staggering amount of evidence. Without the appropriate tools to review this mountain of material, his defense argues that he is being deprived of a fair chance to prepare for trial. The evidence against Diddy is indeed vast and multifaceted. Investigators have reportedly interviewed over 50 victims and witnesses, confiscated more than 90 cell phones and laptops, and examined over 30 electronic storage devices, firearms, and physical records. These materials were obtained through more than 300,000 grand jury subpoenas and voluntary disclosures. Given this overwhelming volume of evidence, Diddy's legal team maintains that a computer is essential for combing through the materials effectively. They have requested that he be allowed to use the computer in his prison unit, a request that has faced significant pushback. The defense's plea for a computer is not new. For months, Diddy's lawyers have argued that the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, make it exceedingly difficult for him to prepare for trial. They have repeatedly emphasized that the sheer magnitude of the evidence necessitates a computer for proper review. However, despite their ongoing efforts, the MDC has yet to provide Diddy with the requested device. The delay prompted his attorneys to submit another letter to the court, reiterating their request and outlining the challenges he faces without access to a computer. The situation has now taken a new twist. Diddy's legal team is not only asking for access to a computer but is also requesting that he be allowed to use it in his personal cell or unit, as they refer to it. They argue that other inmates in his unit are permitted to use their laptops in a similar capacity. The defense insists that the government's restrictions on Diddy's computer usage are unwarranted and discriminatory. They highlight that these limitations significantly curtail the time he has to review evidence, forcing him to choose between meeting with his attorneys or accessing the computer. Prosecutors, on the other hand, have offered limited options. They propose allowing Diddy to use the computer either in the unit's video conferencing room during designated hours or in the legal visiting room between 8:00 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. However, these options come with significant caveats. According to the defense, these restrictions are impractical and interfere with Diddy's ability to prepare adequately for his case. His attorneys argue that these limitations are inconsistent with how other inmates in similar situations are treated and have renewed their call for more equitable access. Adding fuel to the fire, Diddy's legal team has raised serious concerns about potential government overreach. They claim that federal agents recently searched Diddy's prison cell and confiscated handwritten notes, which could contain privileged legal information. The defense alleges that these actions represent a blatant violation of his rights and further emphasize the need for a computer, as it would allow Diddy to take and store notes securely, free from government surveillance. This is not the first time allegations of government misconduct have surfaced in Diddy's case. Earlier, the defense accused prosecutors of improperly accessing privileged materials, an issue that is still being examined by the court. In their latest letter, Diddy's attorneys cited this incident as yet another reason why he needs secure access to a computer. They argue that these ongoing breaches of his privacy compromise his ability to communicate freely with his legal team and undermine the integrity of the judicial process. In response, prosecutors have pushed back forcefully. They argue that Diddy's requests are both premature and excessive. They point out that other inmates at the MDC face similar restrictions and that granting Diddy special privileges would set an unwarranted precedent. Prosecutors also highlight that only a small number of inmates in Diddy's unit are permitted to use laptops and that these permissions come with strict limitations. They contend that Diddy's situation is not unique and that his complaints are exaggerated. Still, Diddy's defense team remains steadfast. They contend that denying him the ability to take notes or review evidence on a computer violates his constitutional rights. They further argue that other high-profile inmates, such as Sam Bankman-Fried, have been granted similar privileges, setting a precedent that should be extended to Diddy. The defense emphasizes that the materials Diddy needs to review do not contain any attorney-client privileged information and that the government's security concerns are unfounded.